good afternoon, and that speaks perfectly into what I'm talking about this afternoon. Thank you, awesome Sophie. Welcome to This is Private Practice Entrepreneurial Clinicians, where let's just say it, it's hot, real hot, damn hot. All of the hot jokes can come out now. So this morning, I turned up for work with very straight hair. Look what happens. You know, I never used to have ringlety hair. That's a medication thing. So I take an autoimmune disorder medication and then my hair goes curly, which is better than the first time. The first medication I took made my hair fall out, so I'll take the curls. But if my nieces are watching, I can do curls like you girls. Ha ha ha. Hello, welcome. It's a very warm day, but you've probably heard me talking about that all day. I think I've sweated off all my makeup and now my hair is curly, and we'll just deal with that. We had a long weekend here in Australia yesterday and the 2 days beforehand, making it a weekend, and I had the fabulous opportunity to go be outside without smoke and threats of fire and be with friends and have a picnic and be on the water, and it felt like a summer holiday day. It was just delightful. But it means we've got a 4-day week this week, and if you're anything like me, it means you're going to try and do 5 days worth of work in 4. No, I'm kidding. That tends to be what we think about. It's like, I've got to fit all this stuff in 4 days, instead of going, it's a 4-day week, what needs to move on to the next week. And true to form, my scheduling process that I've implemented, that I'm trialing, which is just to give myself 3 things that must be done today and then transferring things that didn't get done over to the next day, is helping me to stay so much calmer in my world and be acutely aware of the projects that are under management, but also acutely aware of what I can actually reasonably do in a day. But what I wanted to speak into today is, do you know when your people are available? Now, interestingly enough, we've just found out in one of our pieces of fabulous software that we use that the way I had set it up meant that my 9 a.m. time had become unavailable. And I have a lot more coaching clients from the US at the moment. And due to the fact that time zones actually exist, my USA people get preference for my morning appointments. So my people needed to let me know that when they were available and why my calendar wasn't working for them. So now we've been able to fix that. So yay, Amaret, that's for you, lovely. But I've also been interested, I've been talking to a couple of people and looking at availability, and I've had it come up with my rehab clients, I've had it come up with coaching clients, I've seen it come up in Facebook groups and other forums as well. And it's understanding when your people are available, because providing online services is not going to solve the problem if people just aren't available. So where I've seen this come up recently is people who want to provide mental health services to employees working in corporate spaces, so large cities, big demand, high, they know that they're pressured, they know that they're chained to their desk, they know that their KPIs are incredibly important to them, they know that a day off equates to, I'm probably going to be sacked. Yet in their mind, in the clinician's mind, it's like, well, they need to turn up between the hours of 9:30 and 4:30. That's not when your people are available. And not everyone's going to want a lunchtime appointment. And maybe a part of your role as being the clinician is to let them know how they can start coming to a lunchtime appointment. So there's so many clinicians around who have come out of corporate or government-funded mental health services where we've had the 9 to 5 or the 8:30 to 4:30 or 7:30 or 6:30 or whatever it is, but you've had this very structured working day where you've had your 15-minute morning tea and your half an hour for lunch and your 15-minute afternoon tea. When we're in private practice, there's no one else to set those rules. And those rules are not universal. They're usually conditions of your employment and they're advantages of where you've been employed. But we get to create those advantages when we are employing ourselves and other clinicians. But that's not going to work if you've got nobody coming in to fill the chairs and fill the space that you've made available. So corporate people probably don't want normal working hours because that's when they really need to be busy. The other place is FIFOs, people who fly in and fly out. So we have a lot of FIFO workers here in Australia where people fly in and fly out. They're not going to turn up every week at exactly the same day and exactly the same time because their rosters are going to change and they need to be out of country or on an oil shelf or goodness knows where else. And you know what? Telehealth possibly isn't the answer. I mean, they're going to be in communal living. There's a lot of stuff we need to think about there as well. So it's not just when you want to be available. Yeah, I get we want to create our ideal work life. I get that. But if you're choosing a population that comes against your ideal work life, you've got a conflict and you've got a problem. And no amount of you banging your head against a brick wall telling me that that niche doesn't work is going to fix the problem of your unavailability when people need you to be available. Now, this is not permission to carry on like a pork chop and start being available 24/7. It's about making sure you know exactly when the people you want to work with need you to be available. So is your workday going to start at 11 a.m. and go through to 9? Is your workday going to start at 2 p.m. and go through to midnight? Is your workday going to have split shifts? Are you going to do early morning, big chunk of the day where you're not at work? I've seen some fantastic mobile OT, physio, psychology practices that are out in the community that do split shifts where they have this big chunk of time off in the middle of the day. So this concept of time is really important, but when are our people available and how do we help to make sure that we're available when they need us to be available? And I'm not talking about the rescheduling of the rescheduling of the rescheduling. That's a different conversation. And apparently your online scheduler is not going to be the answer to all of that, as I have discovered in recent days, but that's cool. We'll sort that out. So if you're struggling to fill your practice, if you're struggling to fill it with your ideal people, there's lots of things you need to think about and lots of diagnostics you can use. But how about this one? What's your availability? It's an accessibility question as well. So if you've got, if you can't make yourself accessible when people need you to be accessible, we've got a problem. They're going to go find someone else. So there's a challenge for you this week. If you're not getting the people that you need or want, how available are you? And do you actually know when they need you to be available? And is that going to work with the type of lifestyle you are trying to create for yourself? We all thought we just needed to learn the next Facebook algorithm. Here we go. So I'm going to finish for the day and probably get out of the heat. I might go and sit in my fridge. That sounds like a really good idea. So until we meet again, go forth and be your awesome self.